YB stays on your neck.
Yo, my dons, make sure you hit that like button, comment, subscribe, and obviously hit the bell for notifications. So as you can see on your screen now, here are the WBA rankings as of the 6th of June 2019. And you'll notice that Anthony a la Cash Cow Joshua is missing, which I find proper shocking. Now, initially I thought, I gave them the benefit of the doubt. I thought, well, maybe it's like protocol. When someone loses, they get completely removed from the rankings. But I found that hard to believe. I'm surely it gets adjusted, but you just get moved down. You don't get completely removed from the rankings. As an example, there's many people within this rankings who've had a loss recently. Fact. That's what we do know. Many people who have had a loss. Bogdan Dinu, as an example, who's ranked at 14th. Jarrell juiced out of his mind Miller beat him. So how does that work? How can he be at 14th rank? And Joshua, who's had one loss in 23 fights, has been completely removed. Now, also you'll notice the other governing bodies have really hit Joshua quite hard. Now, the WBA have completely removed him, but here you've got the IBF rankings. Bearing in mind, Joshua was the IBF, WBA and WBO champion. The WBA has completely removed him. He's gone from champion to non-existent, even though there's people who have lost recently who have got a top 15 ranking. Mental. The IBF, as I was just saying, they've got him in at 6th behind Robert Helenius. Are you joking? A dude that completely jacked it versus Dylan White didn't turn up. What's going on here? You got the number 2 rankers vacant. In my opinion, when you lose, how it should work in my opinion is when you lose, yeah, you go down a few places, but come on. For him to be behind Helenius, are you joking? I think it's just shocking, if I'm honest. I really do. But then again, I'm not going to make out I'm a complete whiz kid and I understand how all these rankings and stuff work. Maybe that's standard. Maybe that's standard practice. I find it hard to believe, though. I really do. You got all these bums in there. Mental. And then you look at the WBO rankings. What have they got? The WBO has probably been the fairest out of everyone. But then again, the WBO seems completely biased to me because how is Usyk number 1? He hasn't even fought a heavyweight. How mad is that? But then what do we know about the WBO? The WBO is completely brought and paid for. As an example, Billy Ho Saunders comes up, ducks the smoke at 160 against Demetrius Andrade, ducks that fight, and gets to come straight in for a championship fight at 168. Mental. You got Usyk, who pulled out of the Takam fight, and is now number 1. How is that possible? Mental. Makes no damn sense to me at all. And you got people like Fury in there. What's Fury done? Okay, a draw against Wilder. What else has he been doing? A draw against Wilder. That's all he's got. He hasn't beat anyone who's ranked. In my opinion, boxing should be how it used to be. You keep what you kill. As in, to get to number 2, you must have beat number 3. Does that make sense? How can you become number 2 and you haven't beat no one before that? You know what I mean? If you're number 10, to get to number 8, you need to beat number 8. To get to number 2, you need to beat number 2. How is Fury number 2 in the WBO? Who is he beat in the top 10? Seriously, let's have a look at the top 10. Romanov, Caballel, Zhang, F.A., Spong, Rivas, Joshua. Who is he beat in the top 10? No one. But yet is number 2. Who is Usyk beat? No one. Dylan White and Rivas are fighting. So that's good. But I think it's weird. I really do. Schwartz at 15 all of a sudden. He's dropped down to 15 even though who Schwartz beat? When Schwartz jumped to number 2, who did he beat for that? I think it's completely... there needs to be a macro body which sits above all these dodgy, corrupt entities. And what they need to be doing is they need to start stripping some of these belts away, if I'm honest. There should be 1 belt, not 4. It's a complete joke. And what are we doing? This IBF situation as well. Joshua's in at 6th. As I was saying, who's Helenius beat to get to number 6? Who's he beat? Schwartz at number 9. Wow. Schwartz is behind Hunter. Parker at 14th. Crazy stuff, man. Schwartz is above Parker and Hunter. And Hughie Fury. I mean, I'd rather... Then again, Hughie Fury has lost a few times, so maybe that's justified. But anyway, to be fair, the ones that have been the fairest to Joshua is actually WBC. They've got him in at 3rd. above Ortiz. The WBC have done their rankings, well, I don't know what to say, man. Brazil at 13th. What's Brazil done to get earned 13th, if we're honest with ourselves? Who's he beat? No one. Absolutely no one. But what gets me is WBC, Joshua's never even really fought, well, he hasn't really fought in that governing body yet. But these other three, in my opinion, are a bit of a joke. How can he be completely removed from the WBA? I'd love to know that question. I'd love to know that when you've got complete stiffs in it. Like Frezequendo. When was the last time Frezequendo fought? I remember Frezequendo reminds me of that WBA regular. He's always been banging around, him and Manuel Char. What have they been doing for decades? Seriously. I know word of a lie. About 5 years ago, Manuel Char and Frezequendo were meant to be fighting. What's been going on there? A complete shambles. Never even heard of Wallin at number 6. Who is Wallin? Looks like, where's Wally? Who is Wallin? Doesn't even have a picture. That's how much he's known. He's number 6, but don't even have a picture. As I was saying anyway, man, these rankings, they need to go back to who beat who. If you want to be fair enough, when the rankings initially start, if you want to put people in, okay, we think he's first, we think he's second, that's fine. But there needs to be head-to-heads, i.e., if there's Scott number 10, if he wants to become number 5, he needs to fight number 4 or number 5. Does that make sense? You can't have people like Schwartz, was number 30, doesn't fight anyone, and becomes number 2. How? Explain that. Like Joshua, he's the champion, he loses, and then becomes unranked. Or not in the top 15 anymore. How is that possible? When you've got Bogdan Dinu in there, who lost to Jerome Miller. For example. And you've got Usyk at number 2. Who's he beat at heavyweight to earn the number 2 ranking in the WBO? Who is Trevor Bryan beat? Seriously. Trevor Bryan at number 1 in the WBA. Let's have a look at who he's fought. Who's he fought? God knows. I can't even find it here, but WBA interim world heavyweight champion. Well, he must have fought someone. I thought Trevor Bryan was old. I must be wrong. He beat Flores. Oh, he beat BJ Flores. BJ Flores is a stiff. Wow. BJ Flores is a stiff. And that got him to the number 1 rank. Are you joking? In my opinion, to get to the number 1 rank, you need to have beaten. Let's see who's there. As an example. Yeah, Dylan White. If you want to get to the number 1 rank, you should be ahead of, or should have beat Dylan White. Simple as that. Complete joke. Anyway, I'll be intrigued to see what you guys think. Anyone who knows potentially why Joshua's been removed from the WBA rankings, let me know in the comment section below, because I can't work it out. And besides, the fact that the other governing bodies have put him in, that tells me that they've literally removed him. Or they've dropped him below 15th, which is completely shocking, off of 1 loss. Especially when you've got other people who have lost recently in the top 15. And the fact that you've got all these dudes who haven't even fought heavyweight, Usyk, Fury, all these dudes who haven't beat anyone worth anything. Jumping up in front of people, you've got Schwartz in front of Parker and whatnot. Crazy. And look, I'm not being funny, even Luis Ortiz. Let's have a look at Ortiz quickly before I go. See where he is, because I know I've seen him at high ranking. Here we go. Ortiz. He's number 8 in the IBF. And he's got all he's got in the last year, over the last year. In the last 15 months, Ortiz has a knockout loss against Wilder and a 50-50 life and death win against Christian Hammer. Now, and Ortiz is ranked number 8, by the way. So for Ortiz, bearing in mind, so Ortiz got knocked out and had a life and death against Christian Hammer. Now, for him to be number 8, was Christian Hammer number 8 or something? I haven't seen Christian Hammer ranked in any of the top 15 in any of the 4 bodies. So how is it Ortiz's only win in the last 15 months is against Hammer? Hammer wasn't ranked number 8 or number 9 or number 10. So how did you get to number 8 when all you've got is a knockout loss and a life and death against Christian Hammer? It's a complete joke. WBC, Ortiz at number 4. He beat Hammer. Are you joking? Madness, complete madness. Anyway, I'll be intrigued to see what you guys think.